Welcome back to Rallyslide and to the mid-season review of the WRC in 2023. The WRC reached the half-season point at the end of the Safari Rally, and it turned out to be quite dramatic. The first rallies of the season indicated that this was going to be a much more competitive season than the previous one. The season opened with a part-time world champion Sebastien Ogier winning in Monte Carlo, and Otanek winning for M Sport in Sweden, which was the team's first win in over a year. In that time, the world champion Kalle Rovanperä appeared to lose some speed. He was second in Monte Carlo and on the pace, but in Sweden he was fourth and wasn't a threat to the leaders at any stage, and the same happened in the next rally in Mexico. The first gravel rally of a season that made a return to the calendar after a 2 years break showed that Sebastien Ogier still is the boss there and will be hard to match on every rally he enters, and it looked like he will win each event he takes part in. However, the next rally in Croatia had different plans, but a week before it began, the rally world took a big hit. Craig Breen, who was Hyundai's part-time driver, lost his life in a testing accident ahead of a rally at the age of just 33. It was a tragedy for the sport, and the whole Croatian rally was held under the shadow of his death, and it was quite clear no one really wanted to compete. But the rally was still held, and it was the start of when the drivers who fight for the title started to lose ground. First, Neuville crashed from the lead and put himself out of contention, which in the next rallies made his life even more difficult, and Otanek, who was fighting Evans for the win, suffered mechanical gremlins that forced him to settle for second. We will talk about them again later on. Elfyn Evans took his first win in over a year and a half, but without any celebrations. He was the championship leader in reality though, which was the main thing. The main rally though would be Portugal. Kalle Rovanperä saved his speed for when it mattered, and showed clearly that he ain't going to give up on his title hopes, when he showed a blistering pace throughout the rally, while other drivers had all sorts of problems, and took the win, with 5 bonus points from the power stage, to go into the championship lead. All of his rivals in that rally folded. Evans crashed out, Tanak had a puncture, and Neuville had mechanical problems and finished only 5th. All that meant that for the first time this season, one of the title contenders had a somewhat sizable lead of more than a few points. The next 2 rallies, Italy and Kenya, were the game changers. Italy had a horrible weather that led to an exciting event, which saw all of the top drivers having issues at different stages of the rally, and although Thierry Neuville won the rally, with Sepeka Lappi being second, which was Hyundai's first win of the season, the man who gained the most from the rally was Kalle Rovanperä, as he extended his championship lead even further when his closest rival Tanak retired from the rally, and Evans finished behind him in 4th. Then came Kenya, which saw right again drivers falling, as Tanak had a puncture, so did Evans, and Neuville retired from the first day and was out of contention, and although he returned to the points and won the power stage, it would be all for nothing, as he was later disqualified from the rally. Ogier might have won the rally, but right again Rovanperä, who managed to have a rally without any major dramas, extended his championship lead even further, and is now controlling the championship with a lead of 41 points. And unlike last year, when Kalle made the difference by being much quicker than the rest of the field, this year it's thanks to his consistency, and at no point he seemed to be nervous. Not in the media, at least. He also didn't finish lower than 4th at any of the rallies, and he finished all of them, something none of the other drivers managed to. That's where the leading M Sport driver suffered the most. Tanak didn't complete a single rally this year without something getting broken at some point, even in Sweden, when he won. Whether it was a puncture or mechanical issues, the Puma just couldn't do a single rally without some major problems, something which was a big concern before the season began, and it looks to stay for now. Tanak was supreme as always, but there is a limit to how much a driver can do with a faulty machine. Next is Evans, who appeared to have changed for the good this year, but then, when he finally led, it appeared that something got into him. Whether it was Buin's death that affected him, or something else, he had appeared to lose his nerve, something that happened to him in the past, and in Italy and Kenya, he might have finished, but he appeared to have lost something. Will he recover it in the second half? The last title contender is Neuville. The Belgian too appeared to improve for a moment, and then showed everyone that nothing had changed. The first indication was the accident in Croatia when he was leading, and the mechanical problems in Portugal, along with what happened recently in the Safari Rally, shows that he is still doing silly mistakes when it matters. So, to conclude the info, to compete with Kalle, let alone stop him, the rest of the drivers will need to be more consistent, but now the big issue is also that they will need to take more risks in their positions, which in the end will only lead to Kalle running away even further with the championship. So this was the first half of the 2023 WRC season. Join us for the next rallies to see how the second half will go. Like and subscribe for more content regarding rallying. Stay tuned, and goodbye.